ציונית תברח, תברחי ציונית. אתם אותו נהרגים על ידי מכונית. ציוני כן אתה ולא אחר. תסתכל ימינה, תסתכל שמאלה, תיזהר. מכונית מגיפה מכל עבר.
Some who were there called it a scene reminiscent of the Holocaust. Others were heard calling for swift and decisive action. It would appear as if we're on the brink of a new war between Israel and the Palestinians. What you just saw was a cartoon that the Palestinians have allegedly produced, which basically sends a message to anybody in Israel. We're coming for you, and we will kill you. Welcome back to MidPoint. President of the American Freedom Defense Initiative, Pamela Geller. Pam, that cartoon itself is not funny. Certainly what is also not funny is what happened with the death of now 5 people yesterday in an attack in Jerusalem. Is this just another escalation of the war? And how decisively, in your opinion, should Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel react?
Well, as you say, it's not a new war, Ed. It is a very old war. And the idea that 3 Americans were slaughtered. Look, that was once a declaration of war, but under the Obama administration, it's a footnote. It's heartbreaking. It is monstrous. If you consider that if it were any other country and any other house of worship, the whole world would be calling for a very strong reaction. Instead, Obama says both sides need to be calm. And it is consistent. It's of a piece with his inveterate opposition to Israel. I think that Obama should be joining in a response, not cautioning against it. Clearly, weakness is a sign of surrender in the Islamic world, in the jihad against the Jews. And predictably, any Israeli response will be seen as, quote unquote, disproportionate by this administration and the world community. And they will warn them not to protect Israeli citizens. But if this isn't an out and out declaration of war, followed up, by the way, by this incitement to additional slaughter, to additional violence, then what they're asking the Israelis to do is to surrender. That's
Pamela,
what they're asking.
I've only got about 90 seconds here, so let me ask you this. With regard to Mahmoud Abbas, why is it that nations of the world do not turn to this man who claims to be a moderate and say, you want to be recognized into society, then take Hamas off your cabinet, get rid of them? But no one seems to be willing to say that to him except the Israelis. Everybody else seems to be willing to say, well, if you've got a few members of Hamas in there, it's okay, don't worry, we'll let you in.
Look, for weeks, Abbas has been inciting to this kind of jihad. This is not a new intifada. This has been going on for weeks now. And he made a unity government with Hamas. And the world, raised $5.5 billion with close to $500 million coming from you and me, American taxpayer dollars. I think they won't press them because they will not recognize the Jewish state. They are intractable on that. They cannot. It's Islamic, it's an Islamic doctrine. It's part of Islamic Jew hatred. It's in the Quran. They cannot recognize the Jewish state. And there will be no peace until these Islamic texts and teachings are expunged from the Quran.
15 seconds. Is it time, in your opinion, then, for Benjamin Netanyahu and other world powers to basically say, that's it, let's wipe Hamas out? Anything it takes.
Yes. Absolutely. Instead, Obama is calling for a Judenrein in East Jerusalem. The Jews are the only people that Obama bans from living in certain parts of the world. It is, it is a precursor to what we saw in the Second World War. It is exactly the same thing, and we can expect the same results. The only difference is that there is a homeland now for the Jewish people, and they can defend themselves, and they will not go quietly. And I think all freedom-loving peoples should stand with the state of Israel.
Pamela, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, next hour on MidPoint, the Muslim group in America that claims they are not terrorists. Others say they are. Stay with us.